We're here at Universal Studios Orlando. We're getting ready to check out Revenge of the Mummy. It's a ride that is notoriously difficult for plus-size people. So we're gonna see if I can actually fit in the tester seats. And if not, I'm still going to gather as much information as I possibly can for people who are plus-size and people who have mobility, accessibility, and sensory concerns. Welcome to Pammie Plus Parks. I am Pammie, your plus-size fairy godmother, and I am intent on trying every ride at Universal Studios as a plus-size person to show you what the fit is like, if you can fit, and information you might need if you have autism, epilepsy, or any mobility or accessibility concerns. Let's start out by taking a look at the information board for this ride and seeing if there are any special warnings you need to be aware of. This is a high-speed roller coaster that includes sudden and dramatic acceleration, climbing, tilting, dropping, and backwards motion. Some of the conditions you should be aware of that maybe you shouldn't ride this ride if you've got them are heart conditions or abnormal blood pressure, back, neck, or similar physical conditions, expectant mothers, motion sickness or dizziness, medical sensitivity to strobe effects, medical sensitivity to fog effects, recent surgery, or other conditions that may be aggravated by the ride. There is a height restriction for this ride. Guests must be 48 inches or taller. Guests using standard or motorized wheelchairs or ECVs must transfer to the ride vehicle seat. This ride vehicle does not accommodate service animals, so you have to see an attendant for assistance on that. I'm assuming they must have a crate where your animal can wait for you. Prosthetic limbs must be secured or removed to prevent hazards or loss due to ride forces. I did confirm that if you have a service animal, they do have a crate for your service animal. So don't avoid this ride. If you have a service animal that can be in a crate, you could do this ride. However, you can't do this ride with any sort of carry-on bags, no camera equipment, nothing. All that must be put in a locker. So there are lockers right next door to the entrance here. We're gonna take a look at that and show you what to expect. Here we go in this little theater entrance here. Little tip for you, this can get really crowded in here. So if you have multiple bags, have one member of your party bring all the bags in. So there are tons and tons of different lockers here. This is one of the standard lockers right here. You can see how big it is. It's like 4 hand widths wide and maybe 2 hand widths tall. It's just big enough to slide a backpack into, a standard backpack that isn't overstuffed. So all you have to do to get a locker, and these are free to rent, is to scan your park badge down here and it'll assign you a locker number. That locker will pop open, you put your stuff in there, you shut the door. When it's time to come back and get your stuff, you scan your barcode again, your locker will pop open and you grab your stuff. Now some folks travel with much larger bags because they have a lot of stuff to carry. You can actually pay to rent a larger locker. Now these much larger lockers fit multiple bags, lots and lots of stuff can fit in there. They are $2 to rent for 2 hours, and then they're $3 for every hour after that. Now those free lockers will also start to charge you if you leave your stuff in there for more than 2 hours. 2 hours is a sufficient amount of time for you to wait in the standby line, go on the ride, and then come back to get your bag. This is the entrance to the line queue, but over here is the tester seat. Okay, it looks like there's a headrest. And then they have this lip again, which I really hate on these seats that comes up and it scoops out a little bit for your legs, but I find this to be very uncomfortable. I don't know if other people do, but I do. Now you have individual lap bars. It appears your shins hit right here, and then this piece right here goes right on top of your lap. Okay, so there's usually light indicators on these to tell you if you, like the little red light or a green light will come up, but on this ride, you actually have to look down here, and you'll see that this red line has to go past this red area into this yellow area. So once it does that, that means that this restraint is going to work for you. So let me go ahead and give it a shot. So this seat, it's really, really tight on my hips. And I don't know that I can really get this down very far, but we're gonna try. So that's as far down as I can get it, and it's not like my legs are really loose in here, and I don't think it's supposed to be that way, but let's see how far the indicator shows. I'm having a really hard time shooting this. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can kind of gauge how far. All right, so I was able to look, and it looks like when I pulled it down, it was right on the line. This is the standard seat, so it looks like I might actually be able to just barely fit on the standard seat. They do have some wider seats available, some that are more accommodating to people who are taller and bigger. So I'm gonna ask for one of those seats inside and see what happens. I am hopefully optimistic. I have some really important information to share with you that might help you make a decision about this ride, and it's my sizes. I am 5 feet 4 inches tall. I weigh 327 pounds today, and I'm wearing US women's sizes 28 or a 4X. So did I fit? Was I able to go on the ride? Was it amazing, or was I disappointed? You are gonna have to hang in there for just a second. We're gonna grab a seat, something cold to drink, and I'll tell you all about it. All right, now it's the moment you've been waiting for. You're wondering if the ride worked for me. And the good news is, it did, and I had a fantastic time. But let me share some details with you that might help you make the best decision for yourself regarding this ride, based on your size and any sensory concerns you may have. I went through the single rider line. They don't allow cameras at all inside the building, so it wouldn't have done me any good to go through the regular line to try to show you what that was like. So I went through the single rider line, and here's what I saw inside the building. It was dark, so I saw almost nothing. In fact, I actually got lost. I was the only person in the single rider line, and it was so dark that I actually had to have a team member direct me in the right place to walk. Like literally go, turn left here, a little more to your right. Like I couldn't see anything. There were 3 short sets of stairs to go up, and the stairs for the single rider were right next to the express line stairs, and those people were struggling to get up those stairs as well, simply because it was so dark. Surprisingly dark. I'm not sure if it was just because we had all come from outside where it was really, really bright and our eyes hadn't adjusted yet, but it just seemed a little too dark for comfort. If you do have mobility concerns that prevent you from taking stairs, before you even walk in the building, make sure you talk to a team member and let them know so they can maybe direct you to where the elevators are. So once you reach the end of the single rider line, you're in the boarding area, and there are team members there who will assign you to a row. At that point, you want to let your team member know which row you need to sit in. If you are a tall person, especially if you're a tall person, I recommend that you sit in row 4. Row 4 is the row where they have the modified seats that are supposed to be a little more accommodating for plus size people and tall people. When you go to board the ride and you're a plus size person like myself, I found it difficult to squeeze between the restraint and the seat. That was a tight squeeze, but I did make it through. I just popped myself through. I don't have any special tips for it other than to suck in your tummy and stand up straight and try to like push your way through. And they made sure to sit me on the very end of row 4, which made me feel more comfortable, and I felt like I had more elbow room in that seat. But honestly, the way the seats are spaced out, it doesn't matter where in the row you sit. In row 4, you're going to be pretty comfortable, and you won't be encroaching on other people's space if you're a plus size person. My recommendations for pulling down the restraint are to make sure you sit as far down into the seat as possible and as far back into the seat as possible. Pull the restraint down as far as it is comfortable for you. Give it a push down so that it's firmly against your belly, but not too tight. So here's the interesting thing about the restraint. If you push too hard down on it, this thing's a roller coaster, and you will lift out of the seat a little bit from the G-force. That could really hurt your belly, so don't go crazy and push super, super hard on the restraint. You should know that the team members are not allowed to push down on the restraint to make it lock for you. So either yourself or a member of your party will need to do it for you. I did not need anyone to push down further on the restraint. It locked into place without any issues whatsoever. Team members come around to check your restraints. The team member did take a flashlight out and double check to make sure that my restraint had come down as far as it needed to be safe. But he was very discreet about it. All right, let's talk about some sensory concerns on this ride. This ride is chock full of flashing lights, strobe lights, fog effects. There is rotation of the vehicle itself. It will rotate in a circle. It goes backwards. All of those things can impact people who have motion sickness or epilepsy. So this might be a ride you want to take a second look at before you decide to get on it. All right, so my autistic friends, there are some things on here that may trigger you, okay? Be aware that there is a little bit of misting that happens in there. So there's a little bit of a spray mist that will hit your skin, a very fine mist. And at certain points in the ride, there is fire. So flame will come up above you or off to your sides a number of different times throughout the ride. And it is very hot. So if heat is something that bothers you, or the flashing of the fire, or even like a fine mist touching your skin, please be aware of this. I'm not going to give away too much to tell you exactly where it happens, but just know that it does happen a number of times throughout the ride. I don't like to share too many details of a ride with people who've never been on it before in case it will spoil it for them, but I do want to make sure that my friends who have sensory concerns get all the information they need to make sure that they can enjoy the ride. One of the things I found really surprising about the Mummy is that it is actually a roller coaster. I mean, I know it says it's a roller coaster, but there are so many simulator rides here at Universal Studios. I kind of didn't really expect it to be an actual roller coaster with a track, and it is. And it is a lot of fun. I had a blast on the ride. I can't wait to ride it again. It's definitely gonna be one of my top favorite rides here at Universal Studios. I hope the information that I provided in this review is very helpful to you and helps you make the decision you need to regarding Revenge of the Mummy, but don't go away yet because I've picked out some more videos for you to show you lots of great things that you can enjoy here at Universal Studios. Until we meet again, remember, life is a roller coaster. Enjoy the ride.